the night like an ember, and all those things we tried forgetting I remember. But we say we all fine, we all fine. Sunny day dreams and we up now. Vodka lemonade, I served it up, it goes down. 75.
What's up, Ashes family?
Welcome back to our channel. If you are watching us for the first time, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button right here and join the family.
Don't know how to subscribe? All you need to do is scroll down below this video and hit the red button that says subscription. Right next to that there's a bell button. If you hit that, then you'll be notified every time that we upload. But Ashes family, it's that time yet for another Angelina's story time. We know this is your favorite vlogs and you're sick of just hearing about us and what we're doing. You want to hear about Angelina, we get it, she's the favorite. But today we're going to be telling you yet again some more stories from Angelina's calendars. But if this is your first time tuning into Angelina's story time, we tell stories of our daughter Angelina and we pick days from her calendars that my wife kept while she was still here. Our last video we covered the 20th and the 21st of April, and this video we're going to be covering from the 22nd all the way to the 25th of April.
So on the 22nd was the day that Reginald's mom came to Adelaide to meet Angelina, and she actually wrote it on here herself that she came to Adelaide.
It's actually funny because she was the one that started the calendars, right? She actually started the calendars, and so she wrote herself that Nan came, love you darling, and a couple of the other calendars after that. After we'd gotten into the pattern, Mo actually went over and added some other details that my mum sort of missed.
Yeah, you missed up the details, Mum. Just kidding. But we're always very glad to her for studying this calendar. That day we went to pick her up from the airport, and then we went to go have dinner with one of the families that we were close with back in Adelaide.
And so this family I used to always go visit on my mission, and every time we were hungry we'd just show up at their house and they always have food for us. And it was because the wife is actually Filipino. And so that time we picked up my mum from the airport, we were hungry, so they just show up at their house, they fed us, of course. And then from there we went to the hospital, and it was like a pretty happy but also a really sad time. For those of you who don't know, our daughter was born 23 weeks premature. So with birth like that comes some repercussions. She was really small. Obviously when you're a grandparent, all you want to do is see your grandchild full and healthy. But in my mum's situation, meeting Angelina, who had been so small, weighing only 500 grams at the time, being in an incubator, having all these tubes that are giving her life pretty much, was probably a really good time for my mum, but also a pretty sad time as well.
She was definitely happy to meet her, but it was hard. Like, it was even hard for us to watch her meeting Angelina, like and she actually stayed there all night, most of the night, because at the time we actually were still staying in the hospital at the birth suite where I gave birth to Angelina, and so it was easy for her to just stay there with Angelina for as long as she wanted.
But it was cool because my mum would like stay during the night and we'll go sleep. As soon as we'll wake up, my mum will come sleep, and then we'll go and spend time with Angelina. So it was cool having my mum there because someone was always with Angelina. But moving on to the next day, which is the 23rd of April, one of the families from our church, the Clarks, visited. And then on the 24th of April was the best day of my wife's life. It was the day that she started expressing milk.
So what expressing pretty much is, if you ever plan on doing it in the future, you just have a machine that helps you suck out milk. Oh, is it suck out? That helps you suck out milk into bottles. And
then those bottles go into like a machine which eventually goes into your baby. Because Angelina was so small and she couldn't breastfeed, this is the only way that they could get Mo's milk to her. So I'll tell you, it was a pretty vigorous experience. I wasn't even the one that was doing the expressing, and bro, it looked like so much work.
It was a hard job. But we're definitely glad that we did it. Well, I did it for our daughter. And bro, you should have seen how fast that girl grew, bro. Just straight into looking like her dad.
I think the hardest part about the expressing was the times that my wife had to express. At first she had to express every 4 hours, so for example 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 o'clock in the afternoon, and 12 o'clock at night, but that didn't stop, so she still had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and then 8 o'clock again. So it was pretty hard on her sleep. But what was even worse was when Angelina started to grow, which she really started to grow.
I needed to up my job.
She needed to actually express every 2 hours, and so it was 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 6 in the morning. But it was like really beneficial in the end because we were able to see how much our daughter can grow just off these titties right here.
Anyways, and yeah, so on her calendar it also, on that day the doctors as well told us that she was doing really well. Yeah, so she was doing really well. And that was only, what day was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that was only day 5.
They didn't even expect it to last the first night, the second day. But she was on day 5 and she was going strong. Just like her dad.
Yeah, on to the 25th. So on the 25th was the day my parents came to Adelaide with my little sister Tala. So they came straight to the hospital. We didn't have to pick them up because they had their own car.
Because their parents are rich. That's why they're gonna buy me a ticket to Samoa for this Christmas.
I remember this day clearly because I was in the room. I think you were with Angelina at the time. I was in the room and my parents just walked in, and yeah, what do? I just broke down into tears because I was happy to see my parents and my little sister. Like, as for us just being away from our families, having both of our parents there and Tella meant a lot. So then it came the time they got to meet Angelina. Angelina is, I don't know if we mentioned this before, but she is actually the first grandchild from my family, second in his family. But yeah, so it was also really hard for my parents to see her the way she was. They just couldn't believe how tiny Angelina was. And I remember that, you know, my little sister and my dad were just trying so hard not to cry because my mom was already crying. I remember my dad was like, stop crying, you're meant to be strong for the kids.
Yeah, but it was cool having pretty much all of Angelina's grandparents there, but my dad, he didn't get to meet her until, I think it was only a couple of weeks after this he came down to meet Angelina. But having our family there, especially going through the first 2 or 3 days by ourselves, being on the phone constantly to our family about what's happening, and then just having all our family there pretty much helped us out a lot, as well as helped Angelina a lot. Because as you'll find in the next Angelina story time, we actually had a few meetings with the doctors, with our parents, that they brought some really good news, but that's going to be for the next Angelina story time.
But yes, so that is Angelina's story time from the 22nd to the 25th. Definitely stay tuned for more because there is a lot to go. As you know, she was born in April and we're still in April. We're not even, yeah, we're almost there though. But we definitely do have a lot of more other story times, and we know that you will love to hear them.
Remember, if you haven't checked out her previous story times, I'd highly suggest you do, because it sort of flows on from the story time that which we shared today. We also have a whole other bunch of videos about our daughter, such as her birthday, and pretty much everything Angelina is on our channel, so check those out.
But before we close off this video, as usual, we have a comment shout out, and our comment shout out today goes to
Genevieve. Thank you, Genevieve, for commenting on our video. Remember, if you want a comment shout out or a post notification shout out, all you need to do is comment down below on this video. Tell us when you turn your post notifications on, and look out for the next video because the shout out could be coming to you.
Till then, peace out.